Hello everybody, today in my video I'm talking about the 5 best states in the United States for you to retire in. So if you are not sure if you want to stay in your home state, you might want to move somewhere else when you're ready to retire, stay tuned because I'm going to go over the top 5. My name is Dawn Dickinson and the channel is Reflections and Insights on Life Over 55. I got the information in today's video from doing some internet research. Most of them came from the top 5 suggestions from AARP, but I did find some more information from other internet sources. I have an entire blog post on this topic on my website. If you want to go there, I'll put a link in below. It has all sorts of the details, and this is just a high-level video of the pros and cons of the top 5 states that were picked by AARP and some of the other sources. So the number 1 state on the list is Florida. Florida does seem to come in time and time again, ranked very high on the list of possibilities for retirement living. The highest thing it seems to rank for is climate. It's got a very favorable climate, lots of nice warm sunny days, but not too sweltering hot most of the time. There are a lot of outdoor activities in Florida, and I think a lot of that is because it's a beach state, a beach on both sides of the states. That sounds like a wonderful option to me. I love the beach and I really miss that not living or living in Arizona. I don't have access to the beach, so beach and outdoor activities make it very favorable as you get older and have more leisure time. The tax climate is another draw. There are no income taxes, no state income taxes in Florida, and low property taxes relative to the other states, so that makes it a very attractive option. And then the other thing is there are a lot of healthcare options, very good healthcare facilities in the state of Florida, which sometimes tends to follow an aging population, so that's a thing that's very important on a lot of people's minds once they get over 55. Now, some of the cons to Florida, also weather related. You've got more natural disasters to worry about, like hurricanes or very big storms, because you are a coastal community. So, and the high humidity. A lot of people I know mention that come from Florida that the humidity there is terrible, and even compared to Arizona where it's much hotter, the humidity in Arizona is lower. So humidity is one thing that pushes people away from Florida. Also, the tourist crowds, a lot of traffic congestion near the beach or in the high tourist times, so the high tourist congestion is another downside, and the cost of living can be high, especially in some of the popular tourist communities. Okay, number 2 on the list is Arizona. Now, I'm very familiar with Arizona because I've lived in Arizona since 1970. My family moved from New York to Arizona when I was a child. And it's funny because my relatives from New York either moved to Florida or to Arizona. So the top 2 on the list actually was very prevalent also in the 1970s. So the pluses to Arizona, of course, are the warm, dry climate. That's a thing that brings a lot of elderly people to live and retire. We have a lot of snowbirds, what we say here in Arizona, where people will live in the Midwest or the Northeast in the wintertime, or I should say in the summertime, and then they'll come out and spend their winters here in Arizona. So we do have a lot of retirement communities, and that's another thing on the plus list, is there are a lot of retirement communities where they've got a lot of activities for retired people, and you're also living amongst other people your age, so that can be very attractive. Lots of outdoor activities, especially like golf. There's all sorts of golf courses and hiking trails, some mild trails, lakes. Actually, the lakes are very crowded because you know, we're in a desert in Arizona, but lots of retirement type activities to do and outdoor activities. Low taxes relatively. So we do have state income tax in Arizona, but it's not super high. We do not tax Social Security income, so that is favorable also. And there is low property tax compared to some of the other states. And another thing that's favorable about Arizona, there are a lot of healthcare options, especially if you are in Phoenix, or also Flagstaff has some very good healthcare facilities too. So healthcare is a draw. I know a lot of people are living here. I'm a realtor in Arizona, so if you ever have a question about real estate in northern Arizona, I can answer those kind of questions. But a lot of people do ask, you know, what is the healthcare like here? And so in Phoenix especially, very good and an abundant options for healthcare for any of your treatments. So the negative to Arizona, I could tell you right now, extreme heat has always been a negative. It doesn't matter matter if you're retired or if you're a little kid. It gets very hot in the summer. This summer is a record-breaking heat summer. We had over 30 days where the temperature in Phoenix was over 110 degrees, and then it kind of dipped down under 110 for maybe a week, and now it's back under over 110. And I remember seeing one week where it was like 118, 119, 118, like for an entire week down in Phoenix. Now I live in Sedona, which is away from the extreme heat, but my family is in Phoenix, so if I just want to go visit them and I step out of the car door, I'm like, whoa, you know, really hot. It's very hard to deal with that, although most people just stay indoors in the air conditioning in the summertime. That was a bummer as a child. I'll have to say, growing up, we used to really resent the fact that we were off school all summertime, where everybody else in the country, the kids were out having fun, playing outside, and we were stuck inside in the summer, the only time you're off from school, because it was just too hot to go play outside. So the extreme heat is #1 detriment for retiring in Arizona. So the other thing is, in the wintertime in Phoenix, the traffic gets very heavy because you have all the winter residents that are the snowbirds that I was telling you about. And also, like where I am in Sedona, you have a lot of traffic. So, you know, the touristy towns get a lot of traffic in the high tourist season. And the other thing, which is really recent development, is just the high cost of living, high cost of housing. People used to come to Arizona back in just 5 years before housing. You could buy a house for a relatively decent price, but now that so many people have migrated into the state, housing costs are very, very high. And of course, I know that firsthand because I am a realtor, and some of the times I'm looking at prices myself and I'm like, wow, they want $500,000 for that. You know, so high cost of living, high housing costs is definitely a con to retiring in Arizona. Okay, Colorado comes in at #3 as a favorable state in the U.S. to retire. One of the reasons for that is outdoor activities. There's a ton of outdoor activities, and a lot of that also goes along with the natural beauty of the states. There are mountains, there are streams, there are hiking trails, lakes, all sorts of outdoor activities, both summer and winter. So in the summer, you just have beautiful hiking trails. In the winter, if you are a ski buff or are into winter sports, again, beautiful mountainous terrain in Colorado. It ranks as one of the healthiest states in the nation in surveys from other sources. So that's attractive if you think it's a healthy state. That might be a good jive for you to get into, the healthy lifestyle that maybe will increase your health as you age. There's a diverse population in Colorado. It's supposed to be a lot of cultural diversity and things to do. But of course, on the flip side, on the cons, is there is also a high cost of living in Colorado, high altitude. So as we age, a lot of people have a hard time with the high altitude. It's harder to breathe, harder to catch your breath. And a lot of the cities in Denver, like you say, 5,000 foot, but some are higher than that, so the high elevation turns some people off when they get older. The cold winters can be very cold in Colorado. A lot of people, when they retire, want to escape the cold, so that maybe is not a destination. That might be a place that you leave because of the weather. And then, of course, the touristy areas get very crowded and very congested and high traffic in the touristy areas. And you'll notice a lot of the states on the list, they cite high tourist congestion as a con. So also pertains to Colorado, which is #3 on the list. Coming in at #4 is North Carolina. Now, North Carolina has been cited as having the mild temperature, mild climate, as being very favorable. A beautiful state, lots of beautiful scenery and travel opportunities just for taking like a day trip, a drive to places in the state. The cost of living seems to be somewhat affordable, probably more affordable than the other states that we're talking about on the list. And another thing, it's got very good healthcare access that makes North Carolina an attractive option for retirement. Now, some of the cons is that it is supposedly humid. So humidity, if you want to get away from the humidity, North Carolina might not be on your top 5 list. The other thing is weather, which would mean hurricanes, because it's near the coast. You could have hurricanes or other weather-related phenomena that come in from, I said that wrong, coming in from being close to the ocean. Traffic, especially in some of the congested areas like Charlotte and Raleigh, can be very nerve-wracking, especially as you get older. You don't have to deal with traffic. And limited beach access. So even though there are beaches, supposedly a lot of the beachfront communities might be private and you're not able to get to them. So that could be a bummer, especially if you're like wanting to live near the beach. Not having as much access to the beach could be a little bit frustrating. And coming in at number 5 on the list is Texas. Texas actually is a very popular state right now. There's getting a lot of migration into Texas, not only for retirees, but from the general population. One of the top reasons people are moving to Texas is because of the favorable taxes. There are no state income taxes in Texas, and a lot of people are excited about that. Cost of living is low compared to some of the other states. There are, again, a lot of outdoor activities, which is a common theme in some of these states. As we retire, we like to be able to do outdoor activities. It's not only good for our health, but it's good for our mental mindset to be able to do things outdoors. And Texas also has some very good healthcare facilities, which again is very important as we are aging. Now, some of the cons to Texas, though, is even though it's favorable state income taxes, unfavorable property taxes. Property taxes in Texas appear to be very high unless you are a disabled veteran. Possibly all veterans get a tax break on the property tax. I couldn't tell you that for sure. I do know if you're a disabled veteran, your property taxes are low, but in general, for a general retiree who's not a veteran, property tax is very, very high. That would be a concern for me, but that is definitely a deterrent in moving to Texas. Also, the hot, humid summers, some people complain about that. And again, Texas is also subject to some of the natural disasters that you might not experience in some of the other states. Remember the hurricanes? There have been some very bad hurricanes that have gone through Texas the last 5-10 years, and also tornadoes, floods, other of those weather things could deter people from moving to Texas. And then again, the heavy traffic in some of the cities like Dallas and Austin and Houston. I'm not that familiar with Texas, but that's some of the things that I read about when I was doing my research. So that's it. Those are the top 5 states that are always selected as popular retirement destinations if you're looking to retire. Now, I have some videos, if you're looking specifically in Arizona, in my other channel, my Arizona Real Estate channel, I have at least 2 videos talking about the top places in Arizona to retirement. So I will look and see if I can find a link to those videos and put them in if you're curious about Arizona only. And of course, if you're curious about Northern Arizona, I'll put my contact information for my real estate business below if you wanted to talk about Arizona relocating here in the northern part of the state. So that's it. My name's Dawn Dickinson. If you liked the video, please do me a favor and hit the thumbs up and think about subscribing. I post videos about 55 plus living lifestyle every single week. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you come back. I hope you'll subscribe, and I hope to see you back here again next week.